Hello, I'm Toycat, and welcome back to the video. I think it's been a while since I last made a secret uses video on my channel, and I figured I would change that today by talking about the Snowball and, by extension, the Egg, two of the most underrated items in Minecraft that actually do have some use, unlike a lot of people think, where because, they don't do the knockback like they do on the PC, a lot of people just assume they're entirely useless, but that's not the case at all, and today I'm going to be trying to hopefully change your mind. So if you do like the video, please do like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets know you do like, the secret uses videos, and maybe want to see more of them. It's been literally months since the last one, so let me know if you want to see a revival. With that said though, let's get straight into it, and let's start by talking about why people assume they're useless on the console and vanilla Minecraft on PC, but not on servers. Because on a lot of servers, they have a particular modification installed that makes it so when a snowball or an egg hits you, it does knockback. This is of course pretty useful for Skywars and just PvP in general, because unlike the bow, which takes some time to draw back, you can hit snowballs instantly, which means if you want to knock someone off in Skywars, you can use a whole stack of these instantly and just get them like that. And it's something that a lot of people think is pretty handy, but it's not the only use for the snowball by far, and in fact for survival Minecraft, I'd say every other use is way more useful. So let's start with the very first one, which is probably the one most of you do know, but in case you don't know, snowballs and eggs will do knockback to pretty much any mob in the game. So this is useful for a few reasons, because it's different to a regular knockback, because it doesn't do any damage, which is a bummer for hostile mobs, but this is useful for non-hostile mobs, but also it does knock them back, and it knocks them back instantly. So, we press the left trigger, and boom, there's a snowball already fired, and it also means we can fire really fast, multiple snowballs, and do that, whereas with the bow, like, before, you have to hit them, you have to draw it back, and it's kind of annoying like that. Also does damage, which is annoying for particular things. So yeah, if you want to knock a pig and you want to move him in a direction without hurting him at all, like you would if you punched him or anything like that, a snowball is a cool way to do pseudo damage. It's not real damage, it's 0 points of damage, but it still does the same thing where it scares him, and that's useful right there. But also, this is useful for fighting hostile mobs too. So for instance, let's say you've got a zombie and you've got a creeper following you. You really want to knock back one of those mobs so you can hit the other. Let's just say you want to deal with the creeper first, which is probably the wrong way around, but yeah, you can knock back the zombie while running away from the creeper, hit the creeper a few times, then also, oops, I hit the thing right there. That's something we'll get into later. But yeah, basically you can, hit the zombie while you deal with the creeper, and then you can go back to it, unlike with a bow where you'd have to do this and probably die to the creeper. So yeah, super, super handy for dealing with hostile mobs. You can hit pretty much any hostile mob in the game just to knock them back. One more thing before we go into the fact that some of them actually take damage from it, is the fact that if you fire at a bat, it's one, a pretty cool way to knock them into place if you want to do that, but two, if you let the bat go free from the cave, which we'll do right now. So let's make him fly away, is you can use bats as kind of like target practice with snowballs, and unlike using a bow, where you'll actually kill him if you hurt him, basically if you fire snowballs at a bat like this, it's a really fun game that doesn't make you feel like a monster if you kill it. So yeah, if you want a fun little mini game to just play in survival, try and hit a bat with snowballs. It is incredibly hard because there's so much randomness to their pattern, and there we go, we did it twice right there. Fun little game you might want to try. I found it a little bit of fun, and just in case you want a more light-hearted use for the snowballs, that's that, because the next use is actually you can use it to hurt certain mobs. The Blaze and the End Dragon both take damage from snowballs, which means if you because the Blaze takes a full 3 points of damage, it actually means you can you kill a Blaze using just 7 snowballs, so 2 more I believe it is, and then that's the Blaze dead right there, just like that. And the cool thing about snowballs is you don't have to be as close as I was. Let's maybe stop the fire. You don't have to be as close as I was to the the Blaze to do damage to it. You can be at any distance, even the distance outside of where his fireballs can, or outside the distance where he even cares about you, which means you can hit a Blaze 7 times, snipe him from a distance like this. Let's say there's one over there. Actually, can we hit the pig from here? But yeah, let's say there was one nearby where the pig was. We could snipe him from a distance, and he wouldn't even know that he's being attacked because he can't see us, which is one of those really, really cool uses for the snowball. So yeah, it also attacks the Ender Dragon. If you just bring 300 snowballs with you to the end, which is about 18 stacks, you can kill the Ender Dragon entirely using that. And basically, yeah, snowballs do knock back to mobs. That's the fundamental point I'm trying to get across here, because everything else I'm going to talk about builds on top of that. So yeah, what else do snowballs do besides hit mobs? I already know that, Toycat. I'm not, let's just say you're not too new to the game. You do know that. So what else do they do? So let's put some more snowballs out, in fact, because basically the next use here is the fact that you can fire through nether portals with snowballs, which is useful in combination with this other thing. So not only are snowballs the instant, fire version of a bow if you want to do some knockback, but also you can fire through nether portals. If you try and fire an arrow through a nether portal, it's going to go missing. It's just going to go in there, and that's going to do its whole thing. But if you want to knock back something through a portal, you can use snowballs. Exactly why arrows are affected by portals and snowballs aren't is slightly beyond me, as you can see right there. It's just going to go straight through. Nothing on the other side right there. Oh, there's one arrow, but for some reason. But yeah, most of them don't go through. Okay, let's just quickly test it right over there. As you can see, it seems to like have a weird success rate, but most of them seem to be zapped up before they go in there. I guess it's based on the speed. Whereas if you use a snowball or use an egg, it doesn't do the same thing, which is handy. If you want to knock back, let's say there was a pig on the other side, you could do it that way. So we want to fire through this way too. We can entirely do that, and I just think that's a cool use for the for the snowball over the thing. It's not going to come up too often, but it's one of those little secrets where like, that's kind of bizarre. The next one is the fact that you can actually launch snowballs from dispensers. This might seem like it's a useless thing because, you know, snowballs don't do too much when they hit stuff. However, you can use this for a few reasons. First of all, if you point the thing going upwards, you can use it as like a random direction pointer because this will go in any of the 4 directions, kind of like an arrow, which means if you want to, you can just fire snowballs up and use it as a, you know, direction pointer. So let's say we want to work out which direction we're going to explore next. Wherever the snowball lands, okay, that direction, let's go explore over there, for instance. If you want to use it for that, you can. If you want to use it as like a random generator, so if you like if you put 1 on a sign, 2 on a sign, 3 on a sign, etc., you can do it that way. There's a whole bunch of different purposes you can use for the random thing of this, but it's just one of those RNG inside Minecraft things that you might find handy. However, I'd say a more useful thing is using it in dispensers and pointing it in a direction because you can use it to do the same thing to mobs, but you can do it systematically like this. So, you know, let's say there was a horde of zombies coming after us. Oh, good news, we've got the defenses, and honestly, realistically, you'd probably use arrows, but because this is easier to do, as you can see, you can I actually hit him through the glass right there. It's a handy way to, we actually took out the sign too. It's a handy way to, be able to do knockback without killing stuff, which mostly isn't useful, but if you don't want to kill any mobs, because again, you're being pacifist, but you don't want them near you, snowballs are useful, and they're also a lot easier to get than arrows. So again, just a weird kind of use right there that you might find useful. Next up, we're going to talk about the kind of destructive capabilities of snowballs, because again, like arrows, they have the ability to take out like item frames at a distance, which is pretty handy because, you know, it's instant, we can just do that, and there's the thing gone, and there's the item frame gone. We can do that with any item frame in the world, and also, this is one for creative players. If you have snowballs in creative, what you can actually do is you can take out boats and you can take out minecarts, it's a really bizarre, weird little use of it, but still, it's something you can do. So for instance, if you have a massive mess of minecarts like this, instead of punching them by hand like this, which is really, really bizarre, what you can, really, really annoying, I should say, what you can just do instead is you can fire snowballs at the mess and you can get rid of minecarts that way. I think I had the max minecart limit here at some point, so it's good to be able to just get rid of them finally. And yeah, that also works with eggs, by the way. Again, most of these things, besides the blaze, did actually work with eggs too, and it's something you might find kind of useful. So yeah, with that said, basically being able to take out stuff in creative, pretty darn handy if you ask me. See, we just freed the chicken using an egg, isn't that? I was going to say that's ironic, that's not the word at all. But yeah, isn't that a nice little thing? I think that is. So yeah, that is the creative use for the eggs. However, this still isn't the last things we've got going on here, because finally the ones I wanted to mention is the fact that not only are snowballs and eggs super useful because they'll hurt mobs, because they'll do all this other sort of stuff, but also if you actually use eggs on the ground, as you probably know, you've got a 1 in 8 chance of getting one of these chicks. I think it's 1 in 3 or something, but basically you've got a reasonable chance of getting a chick from an egg. However, you also have a 1 in 256 chance of getting 3 chicks from an egg, which is a really cool little rare coincidence that a lot of people don't know about, because it takes so many eggs to get there. But in case it's something that interests you, I think we must have the max chicken limit, because we just haven't had a chicken in so long. Yeah, that's either the worst luck in the world or nothing like that. Then that's something you can do too. Finally, before we move on from this, because this is a kind of handy little secret that a lot of people don't know about, certain items in Minecraft are actually better if you individually tap the trigger or use the mouse click than if you spam it down, and snowballs and eggs are one of these. So for instance, right now, you probably fire snowballs like this, right? That's how I was doing it earlier to show a point. However, you can actually fire much faster than this by tapping. So here's me doing it like this, here's me tapping. As you can see, significant increase, and if we go really, really fast, we can go to the very, very max fit. There seems to be a limit on it, but still, this is much, much faster than just holding it down. Here's me holding it down, and here's me doing the same with eggs. So yeah, if you are in a situation where you need to fire lots of snowballs, which is one of their big advantages, you can fire them much faster by tapping it, which is something you might want to do to either test the trigger figure or just do for fun. So yeah, fire through what you can do with snowballs and eggs. You can fire at mobs and do knockbacks to them, which is pretty handy for a whole bunch of reasons. You can use them for target practice. You can actually hurt mobs with it. You can fire through nether portals, which you can't do with bows. You can fire it from a dispenser, which is something that it has a lot of weird uses, including being used as a random generator for either numbers or direction. And on top of that, you can also destroy stuff like boats, like item frames. And finally, you can fire faster doing this, which is pretty handy for the PvP situations that I mentioned earlier, but also just in general. So let's fire away all of those signs now, shall we? Boom, just like that, we've cleared off the chest. And this is something you can do using snowballs. They're pretty handy in creative, they're pretty handy in survival, and I think that hopefully after today's video, you've reconsidered your opinion on them. So if you did all enjoy today's video, please do like it and let me know, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like the secret uses and stuff like that. Let me know what you did think of this particular one, and if you do want to see more of the comments down below, and let me know how many of these you did know before. Again, someone's always going to be like, I knew all of them, but maybe if you knew all of them, that's a good sign, and that's not a bad sign, because it means that you're smart. See, if I just compliment them, they won't be annoying in the comments. But with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.